feedback I've gotten over the years from attendees is that while the material is powerful and it impacts their businesses, they just don't get enough. So they say to me, if only we could spend more time with you and the other presenters and really pick your brain, absorb the knowledge that you have to share, and get hands-on training. So to satisfy this need, I created Success GPS programs.
If you're here, it's because you want to succeed.
Being the fact that it's a hands-on workshop, we are getting a ton of value in terms of gaining more clarity for our business and approaching ways to wow the clients and customers that we do have.
Some of the Success GPS events are short, single-day experiences, a couple of hours, but our premier event is an extended, hands-on, experiential retreat. Business owners can come, spend 3 full days locked down and learning everything they need to know to be successful in business and in life.
Everybody up, I'll come out and get you. You over there too, up, up, up. See, if you already sit down, then you've already flunked, which means you've already given up.
Industry leaders that are here today that are so authentic and passionate about being of service to others. It sort of opens my heart and my mind to being really possible and staying on the right track.
I've spent 25 years listening to thousands of speakers, looking for the best of the best. Of all these, I handpicked this lineup of amazing speakers because I knew that they would bring it and that they would put it all on the line with their heart and soul to create an amazing experience for our attendees. In addition, all of the presenters are passionate about helping small businesses and entrepreneurs succeed and take the time on and off the stage for every attendee to get what they need to go to that next level. So I say show up, follow up, and lift up. Give back and don't ever, I don't care where you are in life, if you think you haven't arrived somewhere to where you can't give something back, you're wrong. It's the exact opposite. The minute you start stepping, bring someone with you.
Don't even hesitate, get here, do it. Be here, be the first one signed up, sit in the front row, get all the information, and it will be mind-blowing. It'll just be, it's a game changer to be here. It's just a game changer.
So don't miss the experience live and in person. Go to register at successgpsseminars.com for our upcoming event. And in the meantime, get ready to be inspired.
Today is a very, very special day for me. And I know I'm probably going to be very emotional when I talk. I'm living now what I've been dreaming about literally all my life. When I was a child, I was 5 years old. I said to my parents, one day I'm going to be on stage. I don't know exactly what I'll be doing on stage, but I'm going to be on stage. And one day you're going to be seeing me on TV, speaking to one of these great TV presenters there. And my parents looked at me laughing, yeah, whatever, sure. So today I'm here, and I feel so thankful for having the chance to talk here. And thank you, Jennifer, for giving me this chance, because I have a lot that I want to tell you. Messages about my life, messages about lessons I've learned, messages of hope, because many times I wanted to give up, and something pulled me out and told me, no, you cannot give up. There's a lot more that you need to do in this life. So hopefully today I will give you this message and inspire you. Things are not always what they seem. When I talk to people that I've known for a long time, my family, my friends, and I tell them that I've been struggling with self-confidence literally all my life, they look at me and they say, you lacking self-confidence? Why? How's that possible? You've been all over the world. You've had an education. You have an amazing daughter. You've held executive positions in large corporations. You've had your own advertising agency. You look like you can do anything you want. How can you lack self-confidence? And I say, yeah, I know. It's strange, and I've been spending the last few months actually evaluating why, because you're right, it doesn't make sense. I'm 5 years old, and I'm spending my summer vacation with my family in the south of France, and it's hot. It's about 40 degrees. We don't have air conditioning then. We don't have any fans. So I'm turning and turning around in my bed, all sweaty. It's close to midnight. I don't want my parents to see that I'm not sleeping because I'm going to get in trouble. So I start getting up And I hear voices, don't hear voices in my head, but I hear voices in the house. So I get up and I head towards the area where there are some people talking. And the door is slightly open, and I realize my parents are there together talking, and the conversation is getting more and more energetic. It feels very strange. And after a few minutes, I hear the word that was going to change the rest of my life: divorce. My parents were going to get a divorce. At that very moment, all the safety that I had built for the last 5 years, long 5 years of my life, was suddenly thrown into the trash. My world was destroyed, and at that very moment, I made the unconscious decision that I was unworthy, unlovable, and not good enough. And at that very moment, I made the other unconscious decision that I had to prove myself for the rest of my life and to others that I was worthy of something, that I could do something with my life. So I became this little overachiever that just went overboard with anything that she did. I'm now 30 years old. I was always the first in my class, and every grade, elementary school, middle school, high school, I had to end up the first of my class. Remember, I have to prove myself, right? I finished my MBA school as a valedictorian. I had to finish first, although they all told me, you're never going to make this. There's no way you can finish this school in 2.5 years. First, this is not possible. I'm the little overachiever, remember? So I made it happen. I held the best salesman position in a company that, and I wish the PowerPoint was there because it's something that you need to see to understand. But I was hired in a company that was selling cast iron parts, these big metallic parts that were 12, 15 tons, that are made for the railroad industry. And the company was literally dying. The French market was at its very low, and they hired me to literally save them. I spoke several languages. I had some little experience in sales, but I had my education. So they told me, Catherine, here's the deal. The French market is dying. We need you to pick and choose a few countries in the world where you believe we have some great potential, right? You need to bring in sales. We need you to save us. So remember, I'm this little overachiever. I have to prove myself. So I had to pick a country or several countries where I knew that people did not want to do business with women. Was my first criteria. That they, first of all, had to have money. They had to have potential for the products. That was really important. And they had to be far away. So these were my 3 criteria. So I picked Bahrain. How do you say it in English? I'm not sure. Remember, I'm learning still this language. It's only my 3rd language. So I went to Bahrain. I went to Dubai. I went to Saudi Arabia. I chose Algeria. I chose Morocco. And I chose Tunisia. And I knew these countries would be a major challenge for me because it was 1992. And I guarantee you by then, a lot of those people would not want to do business with women. But that was my challenge. My first trip was to Bahrain. And of course, I had to call them to tell them, I'm going to come and visit you in 2 weeks. I did not specify that I was going to be alone. But I said, wait for me, I'll be there. We need to discuss the products that we can manufacture for you. These are amazing products, great pricing, you're going to love us. So I arrive, and the receptionist takes me to a room just like this one, exactly the same. I had never been in an environment like this. I'm 28 years old, and I come dressed appropriately, like you have to in most countries. And I arrive, and I sit down, and they nod. And I wait a few minutes, and then I ask, are we going to start the meeting? And they look at me, and the one at the very end says, where's your boss? I'm like, I'm the boss. You have to deal with me. It took them about 5 minutes to literally realize, okay, we're going to have to talk to this woman. And I can tell you it was a challenge for me. Obviously, everything did not happen at that first meeting. But I went over again to spend some time with them. I called them. We worked. In fact, I have a picture here, too, to show you. Spent some time in the foundries. This is where I spent a lot of my time with my helmets and my boots. I had to prove those guys that I could do anything that a man would do, right? So I spent a lot of time with them talking products. What that did to me is, first of all, I found amazing customers. Yes, it was hard to develop those relationships with those guys, but I literally brought millions of dollars to the company. I had contracts coming from Bahrain, Dubai, Saudi Arabia on a regular basis. And after 3 years, the company was overwhelmed with orders coming from those countries. We've saved it. So just to show you, that was one challenge that I had put myself to prove myself and to prove to everybody, hey guys, maybe I am lovable. Maybe I am worthy. Maybe I am good enough. Here's another example where another job that I had, I was hired by a fashion company to sell fashion products between Hong Kong and China, and I was based in Hong Kong then. And one of my roles was to visit the Chinese manufacturers and work with them to develop also different types of clothing, working with patents. I was doing a lot of patent translations in German and English and French as well. But also was quite a challenge for me and quite a proud accomplishment. You know, what was really interesting is, even though I had done all this, I still felt not good enough. I still felt that I had to prove myself more. And I was always looking for ways to do this. But still, I had to stop and realize, okay, you've accomplished a few things. It's not too bad. Let's see what you can do now. I'm now 2 months pregnant with the child of my 2-year partner. I'm excited. I just learned I'm pregnant. I called him. I said, Maurice, we're going to have a baby. Isn't that amazing? Wow, we're going to have a baby. There was nobody at the end of the line. Silence, total silence. I was expecting him to be completely excited. Wow, yeah, congratulations, that's wonderful. Instead, Maurice said, I need to call you back. I'm like, okay. He never did. 4 days later, I get a call from his father telling me that Maurice had committed suicide. He did not want to have a child. He did not want me, his life. That was it. So what do you think something like that does to your confidence? Or to your idea of being lovable or worthy? I felt as low as anybody can feel. I felt like maybe I'm not good for a man. Maybe I'm not good enough as a woman. Maybe I'm still lacking for all these things that I've been trying to do and accomplish all my life. Obviously, I'm not there yet. Look at what just happened to me. But I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter. I never give up, no matter what. I was raised like that. So I decided to put everything together. At that time, I had a little poodle. And, of course, 3 months old pregnant by then. And my mother was living in Taiwan. So I decided to go to Taiwan to spend some time with her. I thought it was good for me to get away from all this trauma and think of something else. So I arrived in Taiwan. My mother had been there for about 6 months. And she takes me to a Chinese restaurant. She tells me there are only going to be Chinese people there. You cannot even speak English. They don't understand. You have to get up and show them on the menu what you want. That's how it works. So I said, OK, great. So we arrived there. Remember, I'm 3 months pregnant. You cannot see it, though. And there was this table of American men. I knew they were American. There's something about American men. You recognize them right away. So I point at them. And one of them comes to the table and looks at me and starts talking to me. Well, he became my husband. He embraced me as a pregnant woman, quite a man, and decided to get married. We were in Hong Kong then. I had my baby, she was born in France. I moved back to Hong Kong. And we decided to come back to the United States because I had been working with another company there that was involved with the mafia, unbeknownst to me. And I had been exposed to a lot of information I should not have been exposed to, and they threatened to kill me. At one point, I said, OK, time to go. So we left Hong Kong and came to the United States. That was not my first time here. My first time here, I came here when I was 18, and I spent a year in a theater school because that was another of my dreams, become an actress. But we came here, my daughter was 2 years old. We spent some time in San Francisco, in San Diego, moved to Reno, where things got a little bit sour, and we divorced, hence this picture here. My daughter was 5 years old then. Another hit to my lovability. I thought I was fine. I had found a man, I was married, I had a baby. Yay! I made it, right? Well, no, quite not yet. So I decided to now, instead of trying to find somebody else, that it was not the end of the world. I still had my brain, my mind. I was still young enough. I had an amazing 5-year-old daughter I had to fight for. So I decided to take on what I call the single mom stroll. Found a great job in an amazing company in Reno, and then decided to build my own business, which was an advertising agency, and it was wonderful. We built a business in 2006. I hired people. We ended up, after a year, having about 15 employees. I had amazing clients. I even had General Electric as a client. We traveled everywhere, went to South America. And then 2008 hit, and I can only let you imagine what happened then. My clients starting to call me, Catherine, we just can't continue business. We have to shut everything down. One after the other, that's what they did. I had invested everything I had in that business, literally everything, my house, every single savings that I had been invested in that. I fought and fought as much as I could to try to keep it alive. But eventually, in 2009, it was time to call it quit and admit that it was it. It was, yeah, I could have seen it as a failure, but I did not quite see it as a failure because it was not something I created. I was a victim of the economy, although I hate that word. I don't like to use this word anymore, but the economy created the fact that I could not maintain the business. So I closed the business and had to let go of my employees and decided to have to start over again, right? That's what life is all about. You get hit, you get back up. You get hit again, you get back up. And you do it over again until eventually something good or something amazing comes your way, because it always does. That's when I had my business here. See, I call it the deceitful ascent because everything went up and amazing. I thought, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I have my business, it's going great. We're going to do great. I'm going to make lots of money. I'm going to sell it for $1 billion, right? Like Constant Contact. Didn't quite happen that way. So that's why I call it the deceitful ascent. It was not quite the ascent time yet. Of course, it was a hit for me. And I remember finding myself on the floor of my kitchen with just one thought is being buried 20 feet below the ground and never come back up. I was ashamed. I was ashamed of not being able to maintain the business. I was ashamed of everything that I saw as a failure. And all the negative thoughts that could have possibly come to my mind just came to me. I wanted to succeed. I was failing. Why was that happening to me? Why can't I succeed like a lot of people out there? This is when I had what I called a powerful awakening. It was really a pit moment where sometimes you're so close to death or you're so close to such dark thoughts that you don't see lights in the tunnels anymore. You're seeking for that light. You want to see that light. You're just unable to see it anymore. That's when I had my pit moment. I realized, what if I die now and I have something amazing to give to this world? And what if I'm not doing it? I'm punishing the world and I'm punishing people that I could potentially impact in a positive manner. So it's not about me, it's about others. That changed my whole outview on my life and then my reason for me to be alive here. I also realized that I have an amazing gift, and that was my daughter. That's a picture of a photo of my daughter now. She was a little bit younger then. So I know I had responsibilities to myself, to my daughter, to the world, so I had to get up again. This is where I wrote this book here, my first book that Jennifer talked to you about. Single mom, broke. I was so broke, you have no idea. And I was still smiling because I decided, hey, girl, you need to smile because there's no other choice. You cannot be a victim. You have to be a victor. So you have to smile. So this is when I wrote this first book here. That was my first experience writing a book. I self-published. It's just an amazing experience. One thing I wanted to mention is that I realized then that my belief was a self-crafted illusion. It was just a lie. I had decided that I had failed, but it was just a lie. It was just an illusion. I had not failed. I had learned so much. I had built an amazing experience. I had built strength that was making me who I was. And I had to cherish that. That was really important. Then, like I mentioned before, what if not living my purpose would rob the world of potentially critical learning? What if Thomas Edison had not invented the practical electric light bulb? Would we still use candles? Same type of thinking. What if the Wright brothers did not create the first successful airplane? Would our flying technology be what it is today? What if Marconi and Tesla did not popularize the telephone? Gosh, this English language sometimes I can hear it's hard for me. Would we still have to use the electric telegraph, right? So, I mean, all of those thoughts came to me, and I decided suddenly, well, enough. Enough. You just can't continue this, this travel of negative thoughts and putting yourself down, and lift yourself up. You are as good as anybody else in this world. I was telling it to myself, I am as good as anybody else in this world. Yeah, you see some people amazingly successful, but they all went through these crazy downs. And why they became successful is that because they reacted, right? They changed. They decided to go to the next level, use their experience to grow a lot stronger and faster. I suddenly then realized I am worthy. You are worthy, all of you are. You're lovable. I am lovable. We all are. I'm good enough. You are good enough in everything you do. It's a state of mind. You have to believe it. And then everything changes. Oops. And this is when my second book came. In fact, my second book, I just published it. After all these years of struggle, when I started changing my point of view and my vision of the future, everything changed for me. I started to work for great companies. I'm now building my own business again, and that's a huge change. Just to start now, it's a coaching business. You'll see it here, Kathleen Oaks Coaching. I'm specialized in branding and marketing, but also self-growth. So the book Transcendence came this year as I was reflecting a lot about my life and this awakening that I had experienced, but I also realized that we all have to transcend ourselves, transcend our lives. This is what allows us to reach our goals and everything that we've always dreamt of. So here's the book that came from that. It talks a lot about history. It talks a lot about economy and war. I don't like what's happening in the world right now. And when something like this happens, I always go back to history to look at what happened then so that we can maybe compare and not repeat the same mistakes. This is why I wrote this book. So finding our purpose is critical. In a world where we are overwhelmed by very powerful internal and external forces, I believe it's our duty and it's our responsibility to use every single inch of the God-given gifts that we've been granted. I believe it's our responsibility and our duty to explore our fears as much as we can, because in every fear lies a wish. And that wish may very well be the creator of your purpose or where you will find your purpose. That's how I realized mind. I dreamt of being on stage, but God, I'm so scared of speaking in public all the time. And I was pushing and pushing this. One day I'll do it. And then, thanks to Jennifer, I'm here. And I feel amazing. It's like, wow, I'm conquering that fear. And this is my wish. It's so deep inside of me. It's in my core. I can feel it. This is why I'm so excited. This is why I'm losing my breath. This is why I want to say so much that sometimes I can't speak. So that's how I determined that's my purpose. That's what I need to do. Steve Jobs said, and I know he was quoted by the previous speaker. I love Steve Jobs' work, amazing. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I stay hungry for love, always. Stay hungry for life. I want to stay hungry to give back and to make a positive difference, as it may make us all a little bit better off, but also, and most importantly, it may help us weigh on the good side. Good versus evil. It may take a very long time, but I truly believe that good always ends up winning, as it is supported by godly powers. I believe that. It took me more than 40 years to fully embrace my singularities, my insecurities, my fears, my qualities, my faults, my rigid French upbringing. You have no idea how rigid it was. My crazy artistic side, it's out there. My very rebellious spirit that I've been trying to hide all these years, but now I'm going to let it out. And this silly French accent that you're hearing now that I just cannot get rid of. Even after all these years, he's still here, doesn't want to leave me alone. It took me 40 years also to understand that I did not need others' approval to determine my self-worth or to live my dreams. I was always seeking others' approval to do anything. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. Gosh, why did it take me so long to understand that? I thought I was smart, right? And it took me 40 years also to fully grasp the deep value of self-confidence and the harm it does when it is lacking. I really hope that you have been or that you will be much, much faster than me. Thank you.